Hi, this is 𝗧𝗧𝗏𝗦. Thanks for joining the Creative Retail Talks podcast today. I'm really excited to have a couple of members of the Blumenthal family with Lion Brand Yarn, an iconic yarn brand in the creative industry. Hi, this is 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏. Thanks for joining the Creative Retail Talks podcast today, where we will be discussing the latest in life, business, and retail. And we're going to talk today and learn about the story behind Lion Brand and learn about this fifth generation company that has just some great stories and great people behind it. So with me today is David Blumenthal, chairman of the board, and Adam Blumenthal, VP of Product and Digital. Guys, great to have you with us today. Thanks for being with me.
Well, thanks for having us.
Looking forward to a great conversation. So let's go all the way back to 1878. And first of all, I want to say, I don't know a lot of companies in this industry or any other that have been around for 144 years. I literally had to get out my calculator to do that math because the number is so big. But that's amazing. Congratulations on that. That's impressive to have a company that has been in existence for 144 years. So let's start there. What's the story about how Lion Brand started and who in that first generation started the business?
Well, great-grandfather Reuben started the company. He was in the dry goods business in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And among some of the products was yarn, knitting yarn, as well as threads and various notion products. And over time, he saw the value of yarn being not only, as today we look at it as a stress reliever, but in those days as a product to offer shelter, where people had the skill to make sweaters and afghans and blankets and keep them warm during the winter months. So he took that on, and in those days, various yarn companies, there were a few selected names of animals. And Lion was king of the jungle, and we picked a good one. I should say we. I had Adam and I had absolutely nothing to do with that. But it stood well as a king of the jungle, and Lion Brand, as you know, is now celebrating 144th, founded in 1878.
There was sloth yarn, but Lion Brand beat it out.
The focus groups went with Lion over sloth. Adam, is that right? For that matter, Blumenthal forefathers were smart to pick Lion. Yeah,
right. For that matter, on 100th, we received a citation from the city of New York, thanking us for the energy and efforts and contribution to the culture and vitality of the fashion industry, as well as we received the Brand Names Foundation Award. Brand Names Foundation was an organization promoting the concept of brand names, and Quaker got it for cereal, and Canon got it for towels, and Lion Brand got it for knitting yarn.
Wow, that's very impressive.
We're very proud of that heritage. And Reuben brought in his son-in-law, Joseph Blumenthal, my grandfather, Adam's great-grandfather.
Okay.
Joseph took over the reins, and before long, his oldest son, Isidore, who was my father and Adam's grandfather. We're going to give you a test on the family tree, Clint.
Yeah, right.
And Isidore was an unusual gentleman. I was blessed to work with my dad for over 30 years, and not only a graduate of law school, but decided to go into the family business. And he brought in, as each generation did something unusual and unique to keep this going, Isidore started bringing in imported yarns in the 1930s.
Okay.
And he told me the story when he was a teenager. He went down to Philadelphia, and a mill was going out of business, and bought the entire stock of goods and they had 28 truckloads. I don't know if they were 53 footers. I think they were smaller than that in those days. But 28 truckloads of yarn were coming into New York over a period of a year that he bought at a closeout price. And he was very proud of that first big deal that he ever did. I don't think he was 20 years old at the time. So that was my dad, who later became president when my grandfather, Joseph, passed away. And my dad was president of the company until his passing in 2003. And he worked for many years with his two brothers, George, who was a unique individual who was in sales, entered the company in 1944, and really saw the advent of the discounter and started doing business in the Northeast with the Ames and Jamesway and Caldors and Bradleys and Ann and Hope. And then traveling across the country in 1962, he was in Minneapolis and a taxi cab driver. One of the unique things about George was he traveled the country, but he never drove a car. So he'd get into town from the train and get into the cab. And the first thing he'd say to the cab driver, he said, "Does your wife knit? Does your grandmother knit?" And they said, "Yes." "Where does she buy her yarn?" And the cab driver in Minneapolis said, "Well, there's a new outfit. They have a few stores called Target." And to make a long story short, George sold Target Lion Brand in 1962. We had 4 stores. And from 1962 to until they stopped the category back in 96. But we were their sole supplier from 62 to 86.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big wow.
Yeah.
And we really grew a lot with Target, as well as with the many other discounters.
Yeah.
And then my Uncle Bernard, the other brother, was the inside guy, and he would make sure the goods would be coming in and out. We had a facility at 54 Canal Street at the corner of Orchard and Canal. A unique situation about our company is that the parent company to Lion Brand is Orchard Yarn and Thread Company. And we were at one time very well involved in the producing and merchandising of sewing thread, promotional sewing thread. And we would sell the various variety stores like Woolworth, G.C. Murphy, TG&Y, Grants, etc., who are no longer around.
Right.
So that was the 3rd generation of Blumenthals. And I was the oldest of the 4th generation. There's still one member in the company, my cousin Alan, first cousins. We were 4 first cousins. And we brought into the company the whole idea of marketing and using the magazines at the time as editorial features. And not only that, we brought Vanna to the forefront.
Yes.
Vanna White has been with us for 30 years as a spokesperson for Lion Brand in many different ways. So that was the 4th generation. And Adam, being the 5th generation, a graduate of Northwestern in computer science and an MBA degree from Stern College, and then worked for PwC, he created our first website, actually before Google did.
That's true.
And
that's impressive, Adam.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're on the web longer than Google.
Yeah.
Wow. Very impressive.
So that's the 5th generation. So I just gave you a quick rundown of the various generations involved.
That's great. I really appreciate that. And yeah, as I've talked to you guys before, I think I've told you I need like a flow chart. That's a lot of people coming through. So I do have a question for you. I'd love to get both of your perspectives on this. Something has worked really well there's not a lot of companies that 5 generations of one family continue to be a part of. Usually somewhere in there, it'll fizzle out or the company will get sold or something. What do you think the magic has been David, you've kind of got the benefit of seeing before you and after you. And Adam, you're kind of looking back and seeing before you, and then you'll be looking ahead soon at those after you. But David, I'll start with you. What do you think the magic has been that has allowed those generations to continue to come into the business and keep it strong?
I think the fact that every family member who's joined the company wanted to join.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't, you're my son, you have to come into this business. That's not the case.
Yeah.
They in most cases, like with Adam, perfect example, he came in and he graduated college and then went on and worked in another company and got his MBA degree and then worked for Price Waterhouse in a large company, and then finally came in after a number of years. The fact that he wanted to do it, the fact that I wanted to do it when I was back in 1969, that was when I started at Lion Brand. Mm-hmm. And my father said, no, go into real estate, go into law, go into finance. I said, no. I had an urging, an inkling, because when I was a kid, to me, the greatest thing was coming to the office, and whether I was sweeping the floors or emptying the waste paper baskets, it was exciting.
Yeah.
And so I think with every member of the Blumenthals, that innate passion has kept us going.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what Adam has to say.
I think the passion is the things that we're going to say was twofold. Firstly, passion. Everyone in this company, Blumenthals and non-Blumenthals, have that passion, and that's been what we've been working to bring on and to bring to the culture. There's a huge passion. People care about it, care about what's happening, and we care. And the other thing that I think is very unique about a company that 144 years old as ours, is we really embrace change. Mm-hmm. We're not the classic company that you hear 144 years old, you think, oh, they're doing it the old way. We were, as my father mentioned, we were first to the internet. We were pioneering. There's never been a situation where someone said, oh, we need to stick to the old way and stay in that lane, and we can't move, we can't change. We've, between, as my father mentioned, even back then, approaching discounters to approaching how we advertise, through magazines, to the internet, to now, going to social media, to, our new projects in Bitcoin, which we don't have yet, but we may soon. So
that's exciting.
All of those types of things are I think part of what's really kept us going. It's been that ability to adapt, to change, and to recognize that things aren't static, and how can we always improve and grow.
Yeah, that's good. So that growth mindset, yeah, that's really good. So Adam, you mentioned something interesting that I wanted to get y'all's perspective on also. So obviously there's 5 generations of Blumenthals in the business. You also have a lot of great people on your team who are not family. And so what do you think has been the key? You've got this rich family culture. What do you think has been the key to integrate non-family members into the business and key roles, and tie them into that same culture that the family has that passion for?
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting, it's obviously a challenge, when you're a family member, when you're an owner, it's like you're entrusting your baby, to non-family members. And I think that bringing people in outside of the business has been maybe one of the most important things we've done, because at the end of the day, to grow, we're a big family, but we only have so many family members, and being able to really pull those folks in and infuse those things like the passion, and that's sort of what we really look for when we're hiring in our process. We're looking for people that are passionate, for people that have strong dedication and capabilities, and people that are interested in the category, people that, even in, we have people in our supply chain operations side that are still knitters, that are excited about knitting and excited about the yarn in the category. And that's something that we really look at. That's great, that in terms of how we pull people.
Yeah, that's good. David, what about from your perspective? What do you think has been key to integrate in non-family members?
Well, I think they appreciate the fact that we're a family business.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Just today, I received an email that went out to all our associates that on Tuesday, February 15th, there'll be Associates Appreciation Day. And, we'll give everyone a swag bag and a free lunch and whatever the case is and so forth and so on. It's the concept that I saw that from my father when the company was a lot smaller, how we appreciate each person, whether it's Letty, who's been cleaning the offices for the last 15 years. She got Associates Award a few years ago for the Outstanding Associate. Or it's another person. It's not working for a large corporation. It's working for a family. And they feel that passion and they feel that interest. And therefore, it just is a positive, successful way of conducting one's affairs.
Yeah, that's great. I love that y'all are doing an Associate Appreciation Day. That's a great way to keep everyone engaged and know they're appreciated.
Right. Just today, I got this email, and it was great. I had nothing to do with it, and it was just lovely that it's carrying on the tradition.
Yeah,
you're invited to come, Dad.
I'll be there. I will be there. I'll have Valentine's with my daughters Monday, and then I'll get up there for Associates Appreciation Day. That's great. All right, let's continue the storytelling.
Go
ahead. Yeah,
I just want to say one other thing. One of the key things, besides people's compensation, is we're very proud of the fact that we have 100% health care to every one of our associates.
That's great. That's
and impressive. The health care, I don't have to tell you, everyone knows how it's gone through the roof. The costs have gone through the roof. And a few times we've looked at the costs that we're doing for over 100 people, full 100% health care. And we say, is it worth it? And we say, yes, it is.
Yeah. I do it for 10 people. I can't even imagine what it is for 100.
You don't want to, Clint.
Yeah, I know I don't. And I know the increases every year too. So that's really commendable. And I agree. Healthcare is such an important thing for quality of life and peace of mind. So that's a great thing that you do for your employees. I wasn't aware of that. I appreciate you sharing that. That's really neat that you do that.
Well, they're family.
Yeah, they're like part of your family. And you know what? I will say from the outside looking in, obviously I work very closely with you guys in some aspects, but I'm not there every day, but that's truly what it feels like. The people at Lion Brand that aren't family members, I think you really make them feel like family. And I do think that's part of the magic is you've got the Blumenthal family, but the non-Blumenthals are made to feel as part of the family just as much as the Blumenthal family, which is really that's a cool culture.
And it shows that our turnover, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a low single digits.
Yeah, I bet.
Someone said maybe you're paying them too much. I don't know, but that's not the case. I think that people enjoy working there.
No,
for sure.
Yeah, people love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great what you're doing with the insurance and the recognition. And so I think I shared this with Adam at one time. I had a great conversation with Gary Ridge, who's the CEO of WD-40 a while back. And he's really big on culture. He works with Ken Blanchard, and they do a lot with like servant leadership and culture with companies. And he was talking about that very thing, that as you truly serve your employees as a servant leader, and make sure that their needs are taken care of and that they feel that they're important and cared for, that employee engagement just it really increases and really reduces turnover and just builds such a strong company. So you guys have done a great job with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's go to a few more stories. So I know with the long history with Lion Brand, there's lots of great stories. Dave, you've already shared a few. Is there a story, and I'll ask you both this, whoever wants to start. Is there a story that you think about in your career that just you think about it and it just makes you laugh?
Some of them, which I wouldn't even say on a Zoom call.
I know you probably can't share all of them.
Yeah, you want something. You don't want something that's not safe for work here.
Right.
But there are a lot of experiences that we're very proud of.
Yeah.
And they're pleasant, and if you want to laugh at it, fine. I think going back to the generation before me, where my father was the president of the company, but he did all the purchasing. And my Uncle George did most of the selling. And my Uncle Bernard was involved in getting the goods from one mill to the next, because years ago, it was going from the buying raw wool, sending it to the dye house, then the dye house sending it to the packager sending it to our warehouse in New York. Of course, today, everything is under one roof, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, when they got together, so my father would talk pounds because he bought it in pounds. And my Uncle George would talk in dozens because he sold in dozens. And my Uncle Bernard, he did in truckloads. And somehow, when they spoke, even though one was talking dozens and truckloads and pounds, no matter what, they all understood what they were talking about.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that was it. That was it. When the first few meetings when I joined the company, I sat in the office and I said, wait a second, how many truckloads is dozens and how many so forth and so on.
Yeah.
Uncle George was a unique guy. He traveled the country. As I said, he opened up many of the discounters that we did from here to California. And like I said, Minneapolis at Target. And he never drove a car. He sold John in 50 states and never drove a car. In many cases, his wife, my Aunt Rose, who's still with us, she's in her 90s, she drove the car and George would give directions.
Yeah.
But he would, for the most part, take a train across the country, get off at Chicago and get off at Minneapolis and Denver and San Francisco and California, etc., and get into a cab and get information from the cab driver.
Yeah. He would have loved Uber, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have been the ultimate Uber consumer.
He would have had whatever the ultimate status is on Uber, he would have had it.
You know, I'll tell you one story. I mean, this is a good one. This one's gone around the company for a long time. I wasn't even here for this, but you know, the story from way back in the day of you know, a little bit about how our customer service has evolved. You know, we're New Yorkers. We could be a little bit gruff sometimes. And the story goes that there was back in the day, a customer called in, and I get the sense is maybe a little bit of a problem customer. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if this was in the customer's always right era. This is, I'm guessing sometime back in the 70s. And apparently the customer said, there's a rat in the product, a dead rat. I don't know if that ever actually happened. We used to service our product out of New York. It's conceivable that was real. We have way better QC these days. But either way, so that happened. I think there was some question. My uncle questioned about the veracity of the claim, I guess. So my uncle took the call, and the person said, so there's a rat in this product. And he says, so Did we charge you for it? I guess that, like I said, I think that was the day before the days of customer service. We've come a long way since then, and I can certainly say we don't have rats coming in our products now. We have tight QC on that. That's one of the stories I heard from way back.
That's good. That's a really good one.
Well, I'll give you one, Clint. This is my brother Ruben, who basically retired a number of years ago. Still a shareholder in the company. My older brother. He's a hard worker. Worked for many years at Lion Brand, and he used to be first in the office. You know, he'd get in at 7:30 in the morning, and so he's answering the phone, and very quick. He's the one who, by the way, told the guy, "We didn't charge you for the rat."
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay. So that summer, my cousin Jack had gone to a baseball camp, and 𝗧𝗧𝗞𝗘𝗔𝗪𝗦 was a big Met player.
Yep.
Later became a sportscaster. Was selling displays for the retail trade, and so Jack gave him our card to call us up. So Keith calls up one morning, and my brother Ruben answers the phone, and he says, "Who's this?" And he says, 𝗧𝗧𝗞𝗘𝗔𝗪𝗦. And my brother answers, "And I'm Babe Ruth."
Oh my gosh, he sounds like a character. That's hilarious.
Yeah. When you have a family, I got a family business. You have a lot of characters. Like, it's a colorful family, so we embrace it.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. So those are some funny stories. Let's also talk about, even more important, what are some stories you're the most proud of? I know there's so much as a company you guys are proud of, and where we're going next is some of your purpose and that kind of thing. So I'll hit on that in a minute. But just what are a couple of stories, or and Dave, you already mentioned some recognition, but just what are some stories maybe, or examples of things that you guys are just really proud of when you think about the history of Lion Brand or recognition Lion Brand has received?
Well, I'll go first if that's okay. I think the fact that my son Adam, who was a wonderful student at Northwestern, and as I said, in computer science, and he created our website, and then later went on to become director of information at a company, and then worked at Price Waterhouse, wanted to come into Lion Brand. And I didn't want to give him golden handcuffs, and I didn't want to tell him, you must come in, etc. He wanted to come in.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm very proud of the fact that he's done a fabulous job at Lion Brand, and he's taking us to well into the 21st century in today's world of social media. And when he says digital, it's been a very successful area of our company, our e-commerce business.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of that. I'm also proud of my daughter, who was our brand ambassador for a number of years and founded the Hat Not Hate program, which we'll talk about a little later at charity. But I'm also outside of it, we received an award from Ernst & Young, which is not we don't do business with them. We were selected as the outstanding family business in New Jersey.
Wow.
And that was a very big thing, because we were up against major companies, major pharmaceutical companies, major financial companies, and we won the award for the outstanding family business. So that was a very proud moment.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a really impressive award right there.
Adam?
Yeah, I'll say that the thing that I'm very proud of, or that I love the most and proud of, our interaction with our customers and the consumers, and the way that the consumers react to our brands.
Yes.
It always amazes me and impresses me. I mean, one of the areas of the business that I oversee is our customer service, and the quantity of yeah, I'm not going to say we don't have issues with product. That happens. But incredibly, the quantity of customer compliments, unsolicited, because I never put it out there, hey, send me your compliments.
Right.
But we love Lion Brand. We love your brand. The comments we see on social media from people, we're not paying people to write that stuff.
Yeah.
When I talk about our brand in places, in other places, and people say Lion Brand, like, you're my hero. I love that brand. I love and people I've never met, and the ability for us to really connect with those people, how our brand creates that connection.
Yeah.
That's very proud. The fact that, I mean, we can get into a little bit later the story of Vanna and Vanna White and, the original conversation. And, I think the story was you saw her dad on Johnny Carson, was it? Or
yeah, Johnny Carson.
Yeah, actually, this is a good time to do that. Let's talk about the Vanna White story.
Yeah.
No,
but what was incredible to me about it was, reached out to her, saw her and Johnny and sent her a gift basket, and hey, Lion Brand. She was like, I love your yarn. She was already a customer. She was familiar with us. She knew us. She had that connection. So to evolve from that point to work with someone, and we've done many partnerships with people, since. But one of the key things and the most successful partnerships we have that I always look for when we're doing these licensing partnerships is that passion.
Yeah.
I don't, if someone's not a knitter, or if someone's not, if they're just, oh yeah, I'll knit some yarn. It's not as exciting. Or when someone has that passion that can really pull it in, and that's what she has, and that's what she's really brought to this, she's brought to the knitting community at large, but to our company, and it was always there. So it's authentic. That's what's really cool about it with her and with our customers.
Yeah.
Clint, to back up that story about our customers liking Lion Brand, and I think of the time I was on the board of SIFE, which later became Enactus. It's a student promoting capitalism around the world.
Oh, wow.
And as a board member, I was down at the board meeting in Bentonville, Arkansas. Walmart is a big contributor to the organization. And at the time, the chairman of the board of Enactus was Doug Conant, who was the CEO of Campbell's Soup.
Mm-hmm.
And he announced that the Campbell's Soup was giving $100,000 to Enactus. So I went over to him after the meeting, and I introduced myself to him. And he asked me what I did. I told him, and I congratulated him, and that was the end. The next morning, he came over to me and he said, David, last night I called my wife and I was telling her about the meeting. And I said that I met David Blumenthal, the president of Lion Brand Yarn. And she said, you met the president of Lion Brand Yarn? He's like, who, what, where, when?
Yeah.
He was blown away. She was a customer. She was a loyal Lion Brand customer.
Wow. I hope you enjoyed our conversation on the Creative Retail Talks podcast today. Be sure to visit our show notes page for more information on today's show. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, reach out to me at clint@creativeretailtalks.com. Creative Retail Talks is all one word. That email address will also be in the show notes. Hope you have a great day.